So here we are at the beginning of May, and this weekend, as this video is being released, we're going to see the Kentucky Derby, one of those great traditions of Americana. Now, with the ponies running, usually there's a lot of money that changes hands. Some people are going to win and some people are going to lose. But it brought to mind an interesting question that I've gotten more than a few times throughout my career, which is this. Isn't investing a lot like gambling? Well, the answer is kind of a yes and no, right? But in the end, it's a lot more no than yes. What do I mean by that? Well, sure, you can invest in individual stocks and hope that you find the next Microsoft or Amazon or Nvidia that's about to pop. And the chances of doing that are pretty small, and in that way it is a lot like gambling. But if we take a more diversified approach, say the S&P 500, which is the major index that most people mean when they refer to the markets, then our chances go up a good bit, and actually a lot better than the casinos or the ponies. You know, when you're looking at a horse race, only one of those horses is going to win. So you've got a 1 out of 10 or 12 or 15, however many horses are racing on that given day, chance of winning. But on the other hand, when it comes to investing, you've got a much better chance, statistically speaking, especially the longer you're invested. Whereas, let's say, you go to a horse race or a casino, the more times you go back and you bet, the statistically lower chance you have of coming out on top. At any given casino, you are going to have a smaller chance of winning than the house. Even the more balanced games like blackjack are still slightly tilted towards the house. It's the reason that the U.S. commercial gambling industry pulls in around $50 billion a year or so. But when you invest in the markets, again, particularly in a diversified manner such as we use for our clients, you have a much better chance the longer you're invested of coming out on top. For instance, if you look at the averages since the modern conception of the S&P 500 back in the 1950s, there's about a 1 out of every 4 or 5 years that's a down year. And every other year, you're going to see positive returns, statistically speaking. If you look at that on a 20-year rolling period, there are zero 20-year periods where if you stayed invested for that full 20-year term, that you were not better off at the end of it than you were at the beginning of it. And that's without dividends reinvested. If you were to reinvest the dividends, then we come down to about 7 years. In other words, there are 0 periods of about 7 years where you were not at least as well off at the end of that 7 years as you were at the beginning. So, this is why when people say investing is a lot like gambling, there's a certain yes, but there's a certain no too. If you were to show me the casino game or a horse race where I could come back 7 times in a row, or especially 20 times in a row, and be guaranteed that I would come out on top, I would play that game or bet that pony all day long. But, on the other hand, a lot of people shy away from investing in the markets because they don't see that there is going to be a return. One of my favorite sayings is that it's not timing the markets, it's time in the markets. That's going to be one of your greatest indicators of long-term success. So, if you'd like to sit down and see how this might work for you and your financial goals, drop us a line here at the Financial Prof, give us a call, or reach out to us via Telegraph. We're happy to talk about how we might help you get closer to your financial goals. And in the meantime, I'll see you out there.